Hey, this podcast holds nothing sacred. This is Life, Tech, and Sundry. And what is Sundry? It's our experiences put in a melting pot to the internet. So join us on this wild ride called the LTS Podcast. Follow us at LT Sundry on Twitter, LTS.pod on Instagram, Life, Tech, and Sundry on YouTube, and all your favorite podcast distribution services. Stay frosty.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of the LTS Out of Office. With me is Mr. J and myself. Hopefully later on Alan can hop on, but in the meantime, I got with me right now Mr. J. Say hello to the people, Mr. J.
Hi.
And let me give him a little teaser. Let's see. Listen to this one, Mr. J. Hey Siri, write me a podcast intro about how AI is going to take over the world. Wait a minute. Hold up. With that, dear listeners, I want to share with Mr. J the stories that have come in just in the nick of time before the end of 2024. Did I share already the notes with you, Mr. J?
Never.
Never?
Never.
Damn.
Ever.
No, I did in the squad chat.
So I don't see the email.
Email, he says. Gmail.
I don't see nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
You're falling too fast to your baser instincts, Mr. J.
He wrote in the group chat, Siri, write me a podcast intro about how AI is going to take over the world. Wait a minute.
Hold up.
Wait a minute.
Let's see. I send it to both. There you go.
Bofa?
Bofa email.
Bofa.
There you go, good sir.
He's like, and there he was, back to back.
With Jesus.
Basically.
Yeah. And I also earlier this week I also texted the squad, Alan and Mr. J.
Allegedly though.
No, there's receipts.
There is no receipts.
Allegation is that you're throwing. I actually had to ask a lawyer what an allegation is versus an actual fact.
I am a lawyer.
Of what?
Of Supreme.
Right. Of Crunchwrap Supreme, maybe.
Basically.
But yeah, an allegation is that you're throwing something without any facts. Meanwhile, if you have a fact, is that it's not an allegation, basically.
But my fact is, you don't have any facts. I am the fact.
Of what?
Of these nuts.
Okay. Good thing I'm not chatting about that, am I?
Yes, you are.
What I'm talking about is humans. Humans versus machine.
Allegedly.
The ultimate showdown. And no, we're not talking about thumb wrestling. Even though that's a very, very important thing to consider about thumb wrestling, growing up as a kid.
Allegedly, though.
Wait, you never had your thumb wars?
No, I always won them.
What do you mean?
I always won them.
Wait, this is
I
no.
took out thumbs.
I punched you.
I collected thumbs, Marcos.
Oh, you're Mr. Thumb Thumb?
No.
AI smarter than your average bear, and possibly you. Is AI's acing intelligence test raising questions about whether robots are coming for our jobs, our relationships, and our bragging rights? Well, let's slide into these news articles. Intelligence, if you will. It's complicated. Even experts are arguing about what general intelligence really means. Is it acting? Is it acing a test? Understanding the human condition? What is the human condition? Knowing why cats are obsessed with boxes? The jury is still out. But in general, there's been facts that robots have been actually passing the weird squiggly lines of
in
our
disguise?
robot on websites. What's the name of
in disguise?
And there's been stories, I don't know how true these are, is that they like bots and all those things have been masquerading themselves as human and actually hiring out people and saying, sorry, I'm disabled, creating sob stories and hiring people. And I want to hear your stories about that. Like, is it even possible right now with what's out there that to go around, a roundabout way to develop AI or bots to develop solutions to use people to pass those weird whatever squiggly lines things, those captcha. test. Have you heard about anything about that, Mr. J?
Never.
Never?
Never.
Not even in the streets on the social medias? Okay, man. I have. And they sound funny, but at the same time, I don't know how to feel. I was like, I know me being visually impaired, I have a reason why it's hard for me to see though. The pick a bicycle.
But do you know the way?
No, I don't. There's the other one, the audio captcha. Okay. Then there's the bots, right? They're basically human now, sort of.
No.
AI is so good at mimicking human behaviors or languages, it can feel almost like anyone. That online debate you just won. Wait a minute. You might have been schooled by an algorithm. Right now, before the recording, you were watching short, whatever those short form entertainment.
Reels? TikToks?
Yes. Yeah, but isn't that like curated to your liking? The more you stand on something, you stand on business on a certain thing for a certain amount of time, doesn't that also develop like check off certain markers to say, oh, he's gonna like these kinds of comedic stuff, or he's skipping through them or coming back to them? Doesn't that develop an algorithm, a custom made algorithm for you versus me or versus anyone else? Technically, aren't we all like a sum of algorithms to a mass producer of algorithms like YouTube? No, you don't think so? That we're just ones and zeros to them?
Of course not. They love us. They
We're
treat
just
us
a
with the
customer
utmost
for them.
respect.
We're a
They
product.
treat
to
us
them.
like royalty.
They need us.
Well, of
In a
course, we're
certain-
royalty.
Right. Trust no one, Mr. J. Trust no one, except maybe
But
your
these
pet
hands.
Rock. Remember, that was my favorite pet, Rocky. I even took pictures on on
But you
Twitter.
never had a pet rock.
Yes, I called him Rocky. He was my rock.
Where?
There's pictures on social media.
Where?
He got lost in the
I
movie.
need the receipts.
Rocky was there holding me down.
I need them receipts.
Okay, here you go, good sir. Didn't imagine. Wait, it's called X now. X gonna give it to you. Get out of my face. There you go. There you go. And here's my replies, my highlights, my media. Rocky. That's cake. Where are you, Rocky? Oh, there you is. Rocky is holding it down.
As he's looking for his cake, it says sources here are by Haven and Mark.
Yes, I sent it to you via text message.
These are cheeks.
Right. It says Rocky is holding it down strong. Keep holding the
And mind you,
line.
these are just two pictures of a random rock that he found and brought inside.
I'm not saying no, but it is Rock, my pet Rock. It was holding me down. It was my emotional support rock. What?
What?
What was that?
Osu?
Is there someone else? Is that other person in the room?
Anyway,
For me, before I do anything like that, what I want to ask you, do you have
Yes.
any favorite song of the year? Like, you use Spotify, right?
Somebody once told me he's got a copyright.
Right. No. Do you, like on Spotify, like what's the name of your favorite song? Like your highest played song?
It goes a little bit like Marco's like, no, not again, not the copyrights. No, Marcos, right, Marcos?
Yeah, but of course.
So it goes a little bit like a little bit of Monica in my
Really? You don't have receipts of your favorite song?
No, do you?
I do. I have.
You have Spotify?
No, I don't have Spotify, but I have
See,
my
there you go.
favorite song that I had for years, obviously, called Decode. Before the movie came out for Twilight, it was called Decode, and it didn't have a music video until the movie came out of Twilight, but the band is called Paramore. This was like 2003, early 2000s.
No, I got here. Nobody got you the way I do. Whatever demons it
One
comes
Piece?
in. No. Shameful, man.
Shameful?
Yeah. That you don't know where
Something
it's from.
Super 8?
No.
It's an anime. It's from it's the intro for an anime song.
Nobody got you the way I do. Whatever.
Something about monsters, probably. Super 8 or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, we won't get copyrighted for humming, right?
No, but what's the name of the song?
I said it.
No. The name of the anime.
I said it. Oh, no, I didn't. It's nobody got you the way I do. Whatever demons you're fighting through. When you need somebody to pull through, something like that. Nobody got you the way I do. No, Marcos? Kaiju number 8.
Kaiju. Something number 8. I was right.
No, you said something super number 8.
Something super 8, I said.
Dude, that's not super, Marcos.
Bruh.
Exactly, see? It's not super, that's Dragon Ball Super. Or John.
Massage.
But yeah, I know. For me, it was Paramore. So for me,
Of course.
let's see. D-O-T. This one, it's a combo that I made.
You sure it's not
Damn. For me, that one triggered something in me. It's called Decode, right? It's obviously a little bit more influential with the AI stuff and all those things. But it's about yes, it is. Calm down. No need to get excited. What inspired me to dig deep into this one was the fan fiction behind it, and how that did not trigger any copyright stuff, but it did trigger the creation, aka from Twilight to 50 Shades of Grey, to being crossed over between fan fictions with Harry Potter and something the young guys. What's the name of the show? It's an audiobook now, but it's over like 1 million words, man. 1 million words. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying it exists, okay? So take my opinion with a grain of salt. And thus, it all began because of the song. The name of the song is called Decode, right? But before that, speaking of blurring the lines, is AI secretly penning our favorite fanfictions? Probably not.
What?
Yet. But in the meantime, let's celebrate the human creativity inspired by pop quote-unquote culture. Fanfiction. Is it pop culture? Let me just open up with that one, Mr. J, for you.
Is it what? Is it culture?
Fanfiction part of pop culture?
No.
A derivative of pop culture?
No.
Why? I'd say
why?
it is.
But why?
Because it's inspired from the content. An example, the song Decode, right, was used in the series of Twilight. The soundtrack to fanfiction's Frenzy, Paramore's angst-ridden lyrics didn't just capture Twilight's mood. They fueled a creative explosion, proving that brooding can be surprisingly provocative. Thus, the Twilight series, the origin of Twilight was because of the writer had a dream. Basically, that scene where whatever the main character, female, gets saved by the vampire in that parking lot scene.
Wait.
Yes. Because it's inspired from pop
That
culture.
doesn't mean that is the same thing.
It's a derivative, I said.
But that's different.
I didn't say it's the same. I said it's a derivative. I had to correct myself.
Okay.
But do we agree that it's a derivative?
No.
How is it a derivative of pop culture?
Yeah.
In the sense that it's inspiring many people to collaborate or create content about a certain
So real
subject.
quick, according to Google, pop culture is a set of belief, values, actions, objects, or practices that are popular at any given time and space in society.
Fanfiction. What's
Now,
fanfiction?
fan fiction definition
Yes.
is written by a fan and featuring characters from particular TV series, movies, etc.
So an item or an object, a derivative of a different timeline, if you will.
Not from an item or an object. It's from a specific character from a TV series, a movie,
A novel.
it says etc. Yeah, so a novel could be one.
And it's an item.
I'm not seeing where the dots are being connected. No, it's not an item. It's a character.
A character is not an item because it's not, and there's no physical represent aside from the actor in this case, or the words on the paper.
No, but so again, my question to you is, Marcos, how is
Fanfiction part of?
fan fiction derivative of pop culture?
I think it's a branch. It's not a very popular branch. It's just a small branch.
No. Pop culture is basically a fad or something that's popular in the here and now.
Or a certain irrelevant. It's a
That's why I said the here and now. Because it said certain time. So that they're talking about the here and now.
Yes.
Versus fan fiction. Fan fiction is basically a derivative of the main story, of the main canon. Built by a fan or possibly by someone who can work on the thing.
A group, yeah.
So that's what I'm so how do you get, you know, pop culture is like saying, like, you know, right now saying the word "ayo" is very popular. That's
or his name is John Cena.
John Cena, right?
Yeah.
That's part of a pop culture, right?
Yes.
And then say later on, someone creates a fan fiction of them doing certain things with John Cena.
Of course.
So I can see where you say, oh, you know, because John Cena, the meme is popular, thus so people are making fan fictions of them with John Cena.
Yeah.
I can see where you say, okay, you know, this fan fiction was made because this was relevant during this time. But you can't
a superhero being the Invisible Man.
You can't say that, you know, fan fiction is now a derivative of pop culture. Because you can also take a fanfic of different other things. It could be of, like, say, like of Harry Potter, right?
Yes.
Harry Potter is not that popular right now because there's no more books, there's no more movies coming out. But right now, someone can make, oh, hey, look, I'm gonna make a fan fiction of Harry going out with what's her name?
X character, yeah.
Right now in 2024, even though the books are already done, the main books, and the movies are set and done, the actors are now 30, pushing 40 in some cases.
Yes.
But you know, so they're making a fanfic not because of, you know, Harry Potter is really popular right now, but because they want to. So I think you should rephrase your statement of fan fictions can be creative because of pop culture, but you can't say fan fictions themselves are a derivative of pop culture.
Well, let me give you this one. The 50 Shades, right? Inspired from the Twilight series. It more or less created a wider world, right? The name of the author for whatchamacallit, the 50 Shades of Grey, I think it's E.L. James. Oh no, that's the author for Twilight. Took the obsession and turned it into another content, thus the 50 Shades of Grey universe. The thing that I wanted to push on specifically, the bigger example that I wanted to get on specifically was the crossover that was made between Harry Potter and, I think, I could be wrong, was Twilight in this aspect of Twilight, right? More than just sparkly vampires. Sure, the books had their moments, but the real magic happened in the fan fiction, right? Werewolves at Hogwarts. Anything is possible, right? So with Harry Potter and the case of the unexpectedly very over 1 million words, that means nothing to many things, right? In many words, just very wordy, a lot of collaboration amongst fans. Speaking of the Hogwarts universe, the boy wizard spawned his own literary behemoth, all the young dudes, right? By the pen name is Miss King Bean 89, right? Clocks in at over 1 million words, right? That's longer than any of the Twilight, 50 Shades of Grey, Harry Potter stacked together, right? And this is just a fan that was, collaborating online, forums, all those things, right? And the main center point of that universe for Twilight, all the young dudes, and Harry Potter was one item that they referenced in Harry Potter. And that thing was called the map thing? I solemnly swear I am up to no good. I forgot the name of the map.
The Martyrs map?
Something map. I agree, yes. And the item itself was the only thing referenced in the fanfiction, and also it expanded the whole universe in the world of Harry Potter. But it never even touched Harry Potter, the fanfiction. It touched the werewolf guy, the one that turned into a dog, the one that turned into a rat, and Harry Potter's dad in that fanfiction, and how the world was happening around them as the young dudes in Hogwarts. What was going on outside of them, outside of the world, like the war and all those things. A little bit of the lore of how the guy became into a dog, Sirius Black, how the other guy became into a werewolf, and thus connecting the Twilight universe with the Twilight universe with all the young dudes, which wasn't official. This was just a fan fiction, obviously. And the author, both the Harry Potter one and the Twilight one, did not stop them because they liked the collaboration in different forums on it. Obviously, fan fiction, I don't know, there's flavors for it that led to sexualization of their adventures as young dudes in Hogwarts, or them being pranksters. Like in the movie of Harry Potter, the twin Ron Weasley's brothers, the twins found the map, right? They came across the map and they found out the magic words to show its secrets. But in the also in that universe, I don't know if it was confirmed that Sirius Black, Harry Potter's dad, whatever, the rat guy and the werewolf guy were the ones that made it. I think they did, and they used that as a leverage to develop a whole world inside of Harry Potter and their youth and whatever was going on around it. And it became very popular to the point that there's an audiobook on YouTube that is very, very popular that wasn't made, but I think it was made by the same writer, but it's still ongoing. Even since whenever the last Harry Potter book movie came out, it's still ongoing. And people have been trying to print that book, and they can't, because if they try to make money out of it, the Harry Potter writer, I don't know their name, will slides in and says, please cease and desist of making money. It should only be in the realm of creativity. Don't do it into making money, to the point that the creator hasn't even touched it to make it into money. It's just other third parties have been trying to purchase it, to whom they don't know, to talk to the original writer, because there's the example of 50 Shades of Grey that I don't know the name of the original person that actually was able to get the script of 50 Shades of Grey to become a movie. There's so much drama there, but the one of all the young dudes is still up until this day in a debate. It's a beautiful fan fiction. It's huge. It's ample in story, but they're trying to make an actual movie out of it or series out of it, but they can't pin down the rights of responsibility, and thus it's in different forums of conversation. Who should we contact? Should we contact the original writer? Should we contact the writer of Harry Potter? Should we contact the writer of Twilight, because that was the inspiration out of werewolves and stuff, the derivations of different stuff, of Doujin levels, of whatever that happens with that. But the whole centerpiece was the Marauders map. So it was an item, on the fixed item of one universe, and then they created the whole world. So is it pop culture, or isn't that technically pop culture because it's an item irrelevant of time?
No.
Okay. But yeah, that's what caught me. Like, freaking whatever. The Harry Potter is older than Twilight, I think, right? When it became published into books.
Whoa, hold up.
Yeah.
Let's focus on the main subject.
Break it back. Yes, sir.
So it sounds to me like you're just describing a typical fan fiction.
Typical. I mean, there's a lot of fanfic. I don't know. This one's I'm only interested in Harry Potter and Twilight. I don't know if there's bigger
Again, it
worlds.
just sounds like you're just describing a fan fiction.
Okay.
Yes.
Not so much
Excellent.
pop culture.
Yeah.
I get what you mean by
Okay.
pop culture, because Harry Potter at some point was popular. But
Was.
you can't make the statement of fan fiction is a derivative of pop culture. You can say pop culture can inspire fan fictions and thus throttle their creation.
Yes.
Sure. But they're not a derivative of pop culture. Pop
Absolutely.
culture itself is different than
Yes.
fan fiction. Because fan fiction then takes another path completely away from the canon. Because like you said, it
Yes.
starts from the Marauders map, which, what's his name? James Potter. I forgot what the teacher's Slivers
I
Black,
know was Sirius Black.
which
the
they
dog.
did make the map. They're the Marauders. They're the original Marauders. They're the one that created the group and then eventually created the map, so they knew who everyone was.
Yes.
But then from there on, from there on out, it went completely different to what J.K. Rowling had done with
There you go.
Hello.
That's
Harry Potter.
Yeah. Alan, hello.
Hello?
Nice to hear from you, Alan. Yes.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yeah.
can. Yes, we can.
Is it okay? Like
So, yeah,
clear or
so-
not? Not really.
I see where you're good.
It's okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think Marcos, you're just trying to bring up a fan fiction, which isn't bad. But the statement that fan fictions are derivatives of pop culture, I think that's still good. No, it's not.
Like 50 Shades of Grey. That's my example that became
50
popular.
Shades of Grey is its own book now. It has its own canon.
I guess it had to be purchased when it was originally in the forums. There's a lot of drama about that, but it went through. That's what I'm trying to say.
But the thing here's the thing with fan fiction is that there's always an issue with fan fictions because they come from a source. Like, for example, this one is from Harry Potter, and then also it's Twilight. You can't use Harry Potter because those are owned by J.K. Rowling and Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers were the only ones that had the rights to make them into a movie.
Versus Twilight, right? Whoever was
Versus
the publisher.
Twilight, I forgot who the studio was that had the rights to make the movie, but obviously if the people of the fanfiction want to make a movie out of it, they would have to contact both Warner Brothers, J.K. Rowling, and depending on how much they use of Twilight, they potentially have to contact the authors and the studios that made the movies, as long as the studio has still the rights, because I think they expire after a certain time.
And they did. They tried to publish books and they got a cease and desist.
But from who?
That's the thing.
I think it's more likely probably from Warner Brothers with Harry Potter.
With yes.
But yeah, I think that's the. But
it's
yeah,
not pop culture, but
this is why fan fictions can't be published, put out for money, and this is the problem with Team 4-Star is that Team 4-Star,
Another
it's their stuff is great and amazing. However, they're obviously using
Sensubi.
They're using Dragon Ball, the source content, as their main. They're just taking it and making a different script. So, obviously at some point, Toei's going to be like, you can't do that. We own those and, you don't have our permission.
So wait, but they can still make money right off on Patreon, right? They have their paywall?
Yeah, but they can't make the content anymore.
Public, if you will, you have to pay for it.
No, not even pay for it. If they put their content now on Patreon, they can still get a cease and desist letter. Because they're making money off of the content that's not theirs.
Yes.
Because the writing, the scripts, that's there. That's Team 4-Stars. However, the characters, the likeness of the characters in their script, all of that, it's all owned by Toei Animation. So they say don't do it. They can't do it no more.
Damn it. But yeah, remember there was a whole 10 years when there was fan abridged everything, Sword Art Online.
Yeah, and it's don't get me wrong, I think it's cool, but at the same time, this is this animation's bread and butter. So it's I'm not saying it's not bad. I'm saying it's great content. However, they're making money out.
Abridged are not pop culture.
No, it's a fan fiction.
Kermit the Frog is not pop culture.
No.
Oh, or Cell versus.
You mean the Devil Artemis?
Yeah, I think he's deep in the culture. Deep in the culture.
No, he's not that popular. He's good, but he's not that popular.
I mean, but he's still in there.
But yeah, so I think the issue was that. So that's the thing.
Okay.
So take your meds, Marcos. It's okay.
That was just me. I was over here, wait a minute, and then people, I just told you, and I was wait a minute. And there's debate that whom are they gonna contact to try to make this?
What do you mean whom? I think they know it's gonna have to be Warner Brothers and J.K. Rowling, because J.K. Rowling owns the characters, and I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers still owns the right to use those in media.
Video games?
Because they're still doing it in media, but not video. No, they don't have the rights for video games. They only have the rights for TV shows, movies, and all that. If they want to make it into a movie and stuff, they're gonna have to ask permission, probably specifically from J.K. Rowling and then from Warner Brothers. I mean, they're probably gonna have to make a contract and deal with them.
And there was a drama for 50 Shades. How did they get the rights for that? The contract deal, who represented them to? And it was an actor. Turns out that it was someone that had a heavy hand in the acting business. And people were oh, so only someone that's in the business and can grease the proper hands, or palanca. How do you say that in English? Who you know?
No, but 50 Shades of Grey isn't a fan fiction, it's a book.
Okay, yes.
So the same thing. They have to go through the publisher and then the author.
Yes.
And then for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter,
It's pure Warner Brothers and JK.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Alan? Like, what? For example, all of this got triggered because of a song. Because I was looking to the highlights the end of the year. And Alan, if you want to say hi to the people, to the listeners.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Thank you again for having me on the show, Marcos.
Yeah, no, thank you. I know you're busy out there, and I appreciate you coming on to the podcast. Same thing with always Mr. J and everyone, listening to the podcast. Thank you. But yeah, Alan, I was talking to Mr. J over here that there were some news reports from the source. I put the sources in the links that some bots are able to circumvent not only AI, quote unquote, but bots are able to circumvent the "Are you human?" test, the weird squiggly lines, and click on the bicycle, click on the dog picture, and people are saying, are they smart enough? I remember earlier this year there were memes of saying that there were bots hiring people from gig websites. I don't know the name of the websites. I know one, maybe Fiverr or whatever. They were saying, hey, do you think you can help me with this? And they were using a story that, oh, I'm visually impaired or XYZ. And they said, oh, but this sounds like bot behavior. No, I'm just disabled. And like, oh, I'm sorry. They would use that, charity situation to help them. And they would, I don't know how, secure funds and pay them. And there were memes about this. Like, how are you going to trust people doing that? And then all of this, while doing the notes and all those things, I was inspired. Like, what song could best fit this in my head, And then it came, one of the bands that I grew up listening to was Paramore, and they had a song called Decode, and then the rest is in the notes. And then we came.
So wait,
what
this
if
all because of a situation that happened?
Yes,
to
a
you
situation.
Situation.
No. Situation with the caption.
No. This all happened because I started singing "Nobody Got You the Way I Do."
The Super 8.
That's when it started.
So
And
one
I said,
thing led
"That's
to
his
another,
favorite
and
song
it
of the
triggered your trip down memory lane with a song
Yes,
that you
sir.
really appreciate. And then
Yes.
you thought to yourself,
And then
you questioned life and said,
no. And then he
No.
remembered he was reading a fan fiction that involves Harry Potter and 50 Shades of Grey.
so what I'm trying to figure out is how that all led to the 50 Shades and then, what's it called?
Harry Potter universe.
Harry
Twilight
Potter and Twilight.
and Harry Potter.
How did your situation
Because
lead you to
Because-
go and ask the question 50 Shades?
It was a song. It all started with
Oh,
a song.
Cool.
No,
The song
but then there's
was
the
a bridge,
the
right?
fan fiction.
Yes.
No, the fan fiction was the bridge. Because first it was a song
Right?
which involves
Song.
Twilight, and then he
Twilight.
remembers the fan fiction,
Fan
and that
fiction?
fan fiction involves Harry Potter,
Where-
Okay.
Twilight, and 50 Shades of Grey somehow.
Okay, now how does that qualify, the new Batman movie not being, or the part 2 not coming out? Is that where we're going, or?
No. Then he says that the makers of that said fan fiction
Yeah.
want to make it like into a movie, into a series, or whatever. But the
Right.
issue is the copyright on the.
What's the
on
wall stopping it?
Yeah.
And Mr. J called
I'm
it It's the
guessing-
Brothers.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's lawyers and contracts and licensing
And the Warner
all
Brothers.
that good stuff. And the brothers, of course.
Yes.
Los Hermanos,
And
if
you
you
don't,
will.
if you didn't notice, Marcos was mewing as we speak.
Oh, I
He
see.
had his eyebrows raised, and he was like, "Oh,
You gotta hit you with
You
the
should have seen him before. He had his eyebrows raised.
mom.
No, just one
Yes.
eyebrow,
Oh, right.
the right one. Yeah.
Okay, so
But yeah,
How
what I
does
was
that-
saying, continue on.
yes. No, yeah. I was just trying to figure out how one thing led to another, and then obviously it got you pondering about how that all correlates into why that makes, LeBron James the number one
Because Marcos.
basketball player or something of that sort.
Fan fiction. Is
It's
fan
'cause-
fiction
it's 'cause-
considered pop culture or a derivation of pop culture? That's the one.
Derivative.
Yeah, a derivative of
Yeah,
pop
sure.
culture.
Why not? Let's go with that.
Like, or Doujin's part of pop culture.
No, what? No.
I don't think that would be very it might be pop culture for someone in that world.
For Marcos.
But yeah, I guess for you, maybe it might be something in your hemisphere.
My bookshelf.
Right.
It's in your showcase, not mine.
Yeah, but I mean, everybody is gonna gravitate or gonna qualify certain things as their pop culture. I mean, there's certain things that might be a little bit more universal pop culture, but once you start getting down to the niches, I don't think that. I mean, maybe to you it's pop culture, but not so much to everyone as far as like universally accepted as pop culture. I don't know if it's because it goes against the grain of what is, I guess, socially accepted or not, but that might have to do with it. But there's certain things that I guess, again, to the point where I was going, where niches, I don't think make it as big of a splash. I think anime has gone to the point where, as an example, has gone to the point where it's becoming a lot more mainstream. If not, it's already mainstream. And even people that you would consider trendsetters and people that are forming or shaping culture mess with anime. But it used to be that it was a niche, or it was something that you would probably watch but wouldn't have maybe the fortitude to share to other people that, oh, this is something I really enjoy watching or something.
Yeah.
Until it got mainstream, and then it was socially accepted, right? But as far as like pop culture, I mean, how would you define pop culture, Marcos or Mr. J?
Mr. J has a definition.
Right. I wasn't here. I apologize again.
Can you repeat
profusely.
the definition, Josue, please?
It's a set of beliefs, values, actions, objects, or practices that are popular at any given time and space in society.
Okay, so I guess again, to qualify what you were saying, bro, I think that maybe your Doujin don't qualify as pop culture, because I don't think it's as mainstream as you might want it to be. But I guess once people start making derivatives of whatever is, I guess, in trend, that's what you would probably call, or part of the culture, or part of the pop culture. So like superhero movies, and then you get a whole bunch of like derivatives. Maybe like you get people doing like covers of certain songs. That's when it's part of the culture, I guess, or the pop culture. But I guess like the niche, like those really like small, minute niches that you like, your Doujins, for example, I think that's when it starts.
My Doujins, the Doujins out there, not mine. The Doujins.
Well, I know that you're not the author nor the illustrator, but you do consume.
But he is the
quite a bit.
Patreon member.
Yes, he is. Yes, you partake. So I guess to that effect, that you would probably be in that world. So maybe to you that's part of the culture you like to revel in. But I wouldn't personally qualify as pop culture.
For example, like there's one podcast that I follow of sci-fi, right? And it's all about like Reddit, like people making a storyline of science fiction, right? On humanity making first contact. And the title of the podcast is called "The Nature of Predators," and all those things, whatever, right? And it's basically the universe. It's just collaborations over Reddit. Like one person posts this, one person posts that, and it's just a script. And it's I find it very interesting in that sense, how like if this was that, like just because of, in this case of that example, it is a fan fiction or science fiction fan fiction, is that like that the way that humans are seen in that universe, in space, is that there's predators and then there's prey. People that, like an example, humanity is considered predator because they have this way front facing, the placement of their eyes, and you know, when we smile and all those things, versus prey that has like more like, I don't know how to describe this, like to see more around your peripherals, versus predators that just have this, and you know, when they smile they don't have tails, all those things to describe their emotions. They have facial features, which in that universe prey could see it as an example of an intimidation, or that they're going to attack you and eat you. And you know, the whole universe expands on that. I think I shared it to Mr. J earlier this week, and I was like, damn, this is, for me at least, it tickles my entertainment, you know, my entertainment itch, if you will. And it's all just audio.
Okay. And would you say that kind of that's what kind of started the snowball effect for you to go down these trails?
For that one, at least, yeah. For that one, I was like, wait a minute. Like, what? Okay, I like music. I grew up at a certain time frame that certain musics were popular, and it's like, wait a minute. this was popular at the time. What's going on with it now? Thus, the whole backstory that we just said, the whole fan fiction. I'm literally listening to science fiction fan fiction, and then what happened there that's going on, that's still going on and being there, some drama.
Right. Well, that, interestingly enough, Marcos, I think that brings up a good point where I think, I'm not quite sure if there was a study done, but there was some information going around from, I don't know if it was the actual university or if it was something along the lines with, what's it called? Just talking in the interwebs, speaking about how people at a certain age, will definitely, how can you say, after a certain age, you'll stop listening to new music because you're just accustomed to that time and place of the music that you grew up with, like perhaps high school, college, and you stop,
years.
Right, and you stop evolving in the sense of like listening or taking the time to listen to something new or something different that is out of your comfort zone, and you kind of stick with the music that you were growing up with, right? So, yes. and obviously not everyone and not in everything. So I would probably say maybe when you were growing up, the type of bands you listen to or the type of lyrics that you really enjoy listening to or remember fondly are the things that you probably have more of a attraction to even now. Like you'll probably go back to that instead of like looking for maybe the newer bands that are coming out that are maybe in the same genre or similar genre. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe you're like, I like that, but
I can highly agree with it though. I can highly agree with it.
Right. And perhaps there'll be that one-off, right, where you'll listen to like an intro in anime and you're like, oh, that's a really catchy beat or whatever. And you'll put that as part of your playlist, but it doesn't quite seem to get the same love or shine or the fondness of thoughts that you probably would hold reverence to, maybe like like a Linkin Park maybe for you is something that you probably gravitate towards compared
Fallout
to like
Boys. 30-second Mars.
Right. And like say that to you holds a special place in your head and in your heart compared to like Arctic Monkeys or something like that, right? Where you might listen to a song and you're like, oh, that's awesome, right? But then you go back to the older bands that you were listening to when you were in your formative years and you're like, nah, but this is special. Or I really enjoy, this puts me in a time and place. Right. So again, not that it absolutely happens like this, but again, according to what I was listening to, after a certain time, like you just stop evolving in the space of evolving of your taste in music and maybe the taste in certain things that you do or wear or look at, whether that be shows. Maybe you're really heavy into like drama or romance or suspense, and that's what your bread and butter is when it comes to you watching things. But yeah, I mean, I guess though perhaps those are the things that people will remember more. And it'll be hard for them to change to something new or something different or take the opportunity to look at something different. I think it goes without saying, like maybe your passion for whether it be anime or doujin or whatever, and you'll probably think about, I remember this one, a magazine is like, that's my go-to, like when I have the extra free time, no matter how many times I've read it, I want to reread it, right? Yeah, I'm sorry, Marcos, go ahead.
An example, coworker passed away already. He already retired, but passed away also.
Sorry, bro.
I mean, rest in peace.
Definitely.
Whenever we were free, he was like, hey, let's put on some beats. And I ironically one time put in, I said like whenever I would go to the gym, I don't know why this song resonated with me, Mr. Cool by Bonnie, and the band is like from the 70s. And said, that's a good band. And the gentleman was in his upper 60s, and all those things, right? It was like 65 or 67 when he passed away. So it's like, hey, let me introduce you to Fleetwood Mac. Let me introduce you to this band's or cherry letter pie or something like that's called. The band's like, oh damn, these are pretty good songs. And versus what I used to grow up with, that whatever. I wouldn't say I was in a rut like you're saying of what I grew into, and I had a certain perception. And like you said, there is a certain bias when in your formative years, but it's also the memories that you have when you're developing in those formative years that you have that personally for me, that I had those personal bias. But once I got influenced by someone else that's old, a lot, like generationally, at least 1 or 2 generations older than me, and gave me some nuance and perspective on songs and gave some technical detail on it, not only on my coworker, but also my boss, because like, yeah, those gentlemen were in the same age. If anything, Greg was like a year older than Ed, my boss. And,
Right.
and they're like, yeah, no, this, and this. Oh yeah, these times, like, check this out during the early 80s, the one with the drums, In the Air Tonight, by what's the name of that singer? In the Air Tonight, dun 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 dun, I can feel it come. That one, I don't know the name of that guy.
Dude, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I just don't remember the band's name.
But you know what? It's one guy like with the drums and everything. He said
Right.
that guy like was a phenomenon, or a Michael Jackson song, like that Michael Jackson songs, and they were saying the phenomenon, like understanding their stories from their personal experience while living it in that. Like I asked both of them, hey Greg, hey Ed, was Michael Jackson really that big when they came out with Beat It, or with the one the one he becomes a Thriller? Yeah, they're
Thriller.
like, it was crazy out there. I was like, I wish Instagram or social media was a thing, like to see how people react. Like, nah, you don't want to know. It was a crazy time, man. Or what were you doing when Mike Tyson did this, did that, or when this happened, and they were like in their early 30s or mid, as kids or whatever, when those songs came out. So I don't want to say vicariously getting nuance, not only on the song, but on their personal experience, is what gave me more entertainment. I don't know if that's a proper word. That I liked more, because I developed my personal experiences with XYZ songs, Paramore, Decode, all those things. For me, it was like Decode. I was in middle school in Mexico, and I was like, oh, this is a good song. And then like at least myself and 2 other kids knew what the song was saying. Versus the other people, oh, the drum game is good, the opening riff of the guitar is
Right.
solid. And I'm like, no, but do you understand what they're saying? And that like exclusivity of us 3 understanding what it's talking about, not even knowing that it's about Twilight, just the song itself, like it's pretty good. We bonded about that. We bonded about that one, 30 Seconds Mars, Panic at the Disco, My Chemical Romance, all those things.
Right.
To the point that we didn't dress up, and like MTV was a thing. We saw the Black Parade and all those things, right? Or whatever, right? And like, damn, that was pretty good. And one of them bought a shirt for Panic at the Disco, or another one had in Mexico, right? Different styles of the same, we like bonding, if you will, over the same kind of like the memories basically of different things. Versus another gentleman like in the 70s and 80s. How good was this song? Like, what do you remember about this going on? Like, or when Beat It, or the Ghostbusters song theme.
Okay.
As an older individual, or I guess I want to consider myself, I would say like it's not only the song, but the nuance and the personal experience that really attracted me. So whenever I said like, this is like, Daddy, cool, Greg would say, calm down, Daddy, calm down, damn. Like, I was like, yeah, it feels right. Like, damn, my boy over here strutting, like, damn, like it created my own personal memory there. And I really, vibed more with them, even though I was like 30 years younger than them. And even songs basically timeless. And when in developing timestamps and understanding like snapshots of different versions of people's interests, thus being fanfiction, doujins. Are fanfictions and
I don't know, bro. That's a good question. I guess,
but I think
in a sense,
yeah.
yes, but in the other sense, no.
Okay. Yeah, and that's thus me, it's a running meme on my side that, oh, I have my non-existent books over here, bookshelf, like
Yes,
doujins
books.
over. Yes, doujins, right? Or in the sense of Twilight, like that's what vibed with me with the song. And I know that there's a lot of fan fiction, and you already know that fan fiction, a lot of the times it's not PG. But that's because people are being unfiltered, unable to expand on the universe. I would say, for good or for bad, jury's out on that one. But the story of 50 Shades of Grey, the story of all the young dudes in that universe, and people like the people that do a lot of readings and do criticize stories, because there's also online forums that criticize fan fictions for as literary entertainment, and they say this one, like literally over 1 million words, cut down the fat, but in the sense of the, too many words, but the story is just strong. And the story about the Marauders map in Harry Potter, that was the center point, and the connection of there being werewolves as Twilight. They interconnected that world of Twilight and Harry Potter in the fan fiction universe, not in the J.K. Rowling versus author of Twilight. They approve of it, but they're not pushing toward it being published or anything like that, because it's just entertainment purposes. And thus me asking you again, is it a yes in the sense that it's creative entertainment, but not in the sense to make money, just for the sense of making content, if you will? Is fan fiction the same style as Doujin, or is Doujin you can make money?
I guess I don't know how I would qualify that, bro. Just because, yeah, it's made by a fan, but then again, I don't know if it's actually made by a fan. Like, if we really try to like nitpick at it, yeah, if I'm truly wanting to nitpick at this, like, can we really call it fan fiction if it's something that it's placed in an alternate way of portraying that character? Maybe in the Doujin that you see, maybe it's portrayed in a different way, where it kind of becomes something very different from the original. Yes. Or maybe it kind of takes a lot of cues from the original, which you can relate to, where like, oh yeah, I remember this scene or this X or Y or Z from the original work, and they just added different elements to make it different. So again, that's why I say maybe it is and it isn't at the same time. So I wouldn't know how to
parody versus
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't know how to classify it very well. Just because, and again, also, are they doing it because they really enjoy the work, the original work, or they're doing it because they know that they're able to acquire, if you will, certain clout, maybe, or maybe there is some sort of monetary attachment to it in some way, shape, or form that we don't know about. I don't know, because remember,
there's too many loose factors.
Yeah, I mean, the way I would look at it is like, also there's a lot of people that just take that character, right, as an example, and they do a Doujin or
a map,
right? Or let's take the example of a character, right? And they take that character and they place it into a Doujin that they create, because that, simply said, it's the it character right now. It's the in-trend character that everybody wants to portray, or everyone wants to draw, or everyone wants to kind of like insert into their own little story, or whatever the case is. And maybe that's the only reason that they do it. They don't really have any connection towards the character, right? Which might translate into something good, or might translate to something bad, depending on who you ask, right? So again, that's why I wouldn't know how to classify that as it being a good thing or a bad thing, or more so fan fiction or not fan fiction, or if it's something that they do because they have a passion for it, or maybe they're just doing it just to the clout chase, right? Or maybe perhaps because it's the in-trend character.
My question: can one person become part of pop culture, or can one person create pop culture, or is it always a group of people that create pop culture?
I want to say that there's a single person that might want to start a trend, and that kind of snowballs, and then collectively people kind of, or I mean, there's people that have, like, even before social media, there has to be people that start certain things, and that becomes, that they become a trendsetter, where everybody kind of looks towards that person, right? In our world, I guess you can say, before social media, it used to be that the athletes we watch, the actors and actresses, magazines, like those were basically the trendsetters before social media. When social media started, taking more presence in, I guess you can say, in the lives of people, it kind of morphed into you right? This is the reason why YouTube is YouTube, right? Now, even you can be a trendsetter. And if
Facebook,
people,
Instagram,
right, people mess heavy with the stuff that you do, you
Tom.
can ultimately be the trendsetter if people really dial in and enjoy or mess with heavy the things that you do, right? So I would say that in that sense,
for example, for me, would you agree or disagree with this statement that when people were saying Geronimo, the origin of Geronimo, and then saying Kobe, invoking precision, Geronimo is invoking protection. When the meme was that you're jumping from somewhere high, or and you say Geronimo, and technically it's like you're asking for protection from a saint. I forgot which one, but it was like the one that you throw yourself into harm. It basically the people that are risk takers or something. Let me look it up because it's something like that.
because
Like,
really, I thought it came from the name Geronimo, like the person.
no, it was a Saint Geronimo. I think it was a Spaniard
Really?
thing. When they were coming in on this side.
Okay, well, yeah,
Crossing
definitely
the
look that
seas.
up because I've never.
But you've heard the meme, right?
associated-
Like in old cartoons, like Geronimo, when they jump something.
I
like,
never associated that with a saint. Like I thought it was because it came from. There was
the old
this.
world.
No, I thought it was very much the New World
I got
because
you.
of
Checking.
the name of a actual person on this side of the world. But again, maybe that's just my Amerocentric way of thinking or understanding things. I don't know.
When doing something
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Daring. That works.
versus saying Kobe, invoking what?
Precision.
Yes, sir. So, the origin of saying Geronimo when doing something daring stems from its use by paratroopers in the U.S. That's recent one in the 1940s, right? When you're jumping from heights.
Right.
There
Where
are a
does
couple
that
of
come from?
the bravado. Another account claims that the okay, that's a name. Regardless, allegedly that it's an American one, but I know it's like an old world one. It's a saint. That's like you invoking your self protection when you're doing something daring. Is it from the old? Let's see. No, modern use of Geronimo is doing exclamation is not from the old world. Origin is from the army. Damn. So it's propaganda, I guess. While the name Geronimo itself is Spanish roots derived from Jerome, the specific usage of the word is a battle cry for paratroopers, distinctly the American air paratroopers. Yeah, so it was popularized in the West. Connection to the American Old Wild West. The
That's what I was
association
thinking.
came from the famous
Native
Apache
American,
leader,
right? Yeah.
Geronimo. Yep, known for his bravery and resistance against the U.S. forces. So yeah,
That's what
it's a
that's
native
where I
thing.
remember it from.
He's
yeah,
like
I thought it was
Kobe.
because
It's like Kobe, basically.
precision.
Precision, resist.
Yes.
Like may the fourth be with me. That's another one. So that's pop culture, right? A Geronimo.
Yeah. I'm
Geronimo.
pretty sure that's what it's.
Yeah, that's pop culture because it was used to evoke resistance, to evoke protection when doing something brave, if you will. Or
But
bravado.
is that really pop culture or more history?
I mean, it's irrelevant of time. It's just the usage of an item,
'cause-
an individual, or a circumstance. In this,
Right,
it's
no.
all three. If anything,
yeah.
four because of time, like you said.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, when was it popularized compared to when that gentleman was alive? Right? So that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's
The
quite
40s.
that's quite a leap or lapse in time for them to take that as pop culture. I think more of, in a sense, it's history, and that was kind of like adopted and
it
made
got
into
condensed
something.
into one word, like his actions
Right,
emblemized
right.
the power to resist and power. Versus
Yes.
Kobe emphasized everything, like your strength, your hard work, reduced into one thing of being precise, clinical,
Yes. Right.
cold,
Right.
calculating. What's
Right.
Michael Jordan? Air jumps or what? That's an image, right? Jordan.
Yeah. His was condensed into like an image of him like jumping from like I want to say like the half court, almost half court, right? Or like I think it's
Yeah,
the
like it
three-pointer
looked like he
line.
was walking in the air or running in the air. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
When he was doing that competition, right? Like, yeah, I remember that one. There's that one. A Kobe, John Cena. You know, you can't see me. You're invisible.
Right, that's another one. Yeah.
And then, but yeah, that's thus that there was. I don't want to say deification, but you try to summarize an individual into a concept. Kobe, Geronimo, John, and his name is ... and all those things. So, fanfiction is it's a snapshot, but not the whole thing. So culture can be derived by any amount of people, or key people, or one person. Is one person derived as pop or trendsetter for pop culture? Any person, or is it have to be a specific individual? Kobe, Geronimo, his name is. That's the question. And then fanfiction.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I think they all kind of fall under a different category. I mean, they overlap, definitely, but I think in a certain way, categories are a little bit different. Just because of
There's
like
not a
time,
fixed
place. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think when we talk about pop culture, I think not only do we need to kind of define what culture is, but also what pop culture is. I guess the reason why
Popular.
it's called, right, popular culture, right? So what's popular, I guess, in that span of an era, maybe?
Yes.
Like, what would be the definition of an era, right? Or maybe a generation.
The
Like, I
Jordans
think
still
that's-
be this 80s, 90s, the Bulls.
Right, but that transcends the generation. And I think that's what also marks it as something that's a little bit more than pop culture, right? Because it's not something that kind of fades away with time. Like, it's very present still. Even people now want to buy
Jordan is
Jordans.
strong.
Right? So where it's like, maybe there's certain things that aren't as popular in the culture like they were back in the day, where it's like maybe...
Geronimo.
Right. Like, even now, like, we can talk about it, but it's like, who really besides people that are in paratroopers use that phrase, right? Outside. Like,
We got
and, like-
influenced because of I saw it in cartoons, but that's it.
no, of course, bro, but like, when you are somewhere and you jump from one place, do you scream Geronimo on the usual?
We're doing something
Yeah,
daring.
Right, exactly. So that's what I'm saying, like how much, like, in this time and place, like in this era, this generation, how much is that of, like, it mixed into the culture, you know?
I have a question then. Okay, something that could be timeless, or is it also in this one? Culture. You and I, our culture, Mexican culture, Mexican American culture, but Mexican.
Okay.
Something timeless. Food. Una torta or a pozole. How about that? Pozole, yeah, that's like a soup.
I think what you're looking for is, like, right now, the in trend or in vogue thing that's been going on for like a couple of, I want to say maybe a year or two, maybe 3. And more so because it's popular in the culture right now would be birria, right? That's what's popular in the culture now. Where it's like a couple of years ago that it wasn't as present and wasn't as popular because not many people knew about it. Another one I could probably steer you to is probably barbacoa, right? So that might be popular in the culture, where even places like Chipotle offered barbacoa as part of a protein option for your burrito bowl.
Yes.
But other things that were probably popular in a sense that became big in the culture as a pop culture thing, but isn't as prominent or kind of died down with certain things.
Yes.
I would probably say, which is an interesting one to kind of like bring up, but like, and I was thinking about this precisely like maybe last week or so, where
Okay.
it's like, you know how in the US, the majority of the Mexicans that are located here in the Northeast predominantly are from the state of Puebla.
Yes.
I don't know the numbers, but it just seems to me like the predominant group of Mexicans that live in the Northeast are from Puebla, which hence we get the Puebla York, right? Or we have the
Yes.
right, the the Puebla York is very influential in the Northeast.
It's
Where-
a meme, I would say.
Right. So let me kind of like connect the dots for you, and maybe you can steer me or wrong or right to this point. Being that that's the case on the West Coast, predominantly you'll have more people that are north of Mexico, right? The states that are on the border of Mexico and the U.S. usually tend to go either to Texas, Arizona, and California, right? Maybe you'll get some
Vegas.
over on right, or Florida, maybe Louisiana or something like that, right? You'll see more
Yes.
northern Mexicans there. Now, up here in the Northeast, you get, like I was saying, you have people predominantly from Puebla, which kind of connects the dot for me, where when Cinco de Mayo started becoming popular as something that you would do, I want to say in the pop culture aspect of it, I want to think,
Yes.
and again, I don't have the evidence, but I want to think that it became popular enough, or there's enough Mexicans from Puebla to kind of make it into a pseudo holiday in the Northeast that kind of trickled out, right, into the other states of the United States of America, where it became pop culture or culturally accepted that even though
Yes.
even in the country of Mexico, not everybody celebrates Cinco de Mayo because it's more of a state thing and not a country thing, right? It's like,
Correct. Yeah.
it's like you trying to celebrate something that happened in New York while you live in, I don't know, Utah or Montana, right? Or Oregon or Ohio, right? Or Idaho. It's like, it doesn't make much sense because it's something that happened in New York, and predominantly people that
Mhm.
are in New York celebrate that certain thing. Well, that's exactly the same thing that happened in Mexico. The war or the Battle of Puebla that is celebrated with Cinco de Mayo as being the day that, right, is something that is predominantly remembered, memorialized in the state of Puebla where it happened. It doesn't really affect, or it doesn't really affect in I guess in national way, right? The other states, because they don't celebrate it, and hence the reason why it's not talked about outside of Puebla. But once you get into the U.S. and you live in the Northeast, and the majority of the Mexicans, at least according to what I've seen, right? Most Mexicans in the Northeast are from Puebla. Usually are, I guess you can say, our understanding of the celebration of Cinco de Mayo, so much so that it became commercialized in the U.S. to the
There you
point
go.
where,
Pop culture.
yeah, to the point where now most people in the U.S. have something to do or have a reason to celebrate on May the 5th, even though it has really nothing to do with the nation. More so, it has something to do with the state of Puebla, which is crazy how a small group of people set the trend for a whole nation to jump on board and basically, I guess you can say, celebrate something that is something that maybe they wouldn't have done because a small group popularized it, right? That's how I'm connecting the dots, bro. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
There's three potential additions to that. Also, one, location,
go ahead.
location where like you were saying, Puebla, York, right? The East Coast, like you were saying, is, I would say, one of the or the most, at the current moment, the most influential locations in the world. New York, right? The state of New York, the Empire State, and it's influential. So I would say any culture that's here has like already a certain advantage because it is able to influence other locations indirectly, just because it's being, I don't want to say flaunted, but it's being, you're seeing it in the wild here. Thus the stereotype of specific, and Puebla also historically is one of the key locations of Mexico, aside from Mexico City, Oaxaca, Veracruz, all those places. Each state is the mummies of Guanajuato, all those things, right? But culturally speaking, there's even that, the very cultural place, Puebla de Los Angeles, or the place of the angels, right?
Okay.
The whole example of the Catrinas. How do you say Catrinas? The altars? the Halloween altars. They are popular
Oh,
over
you
there
mean
around the
Dia de
country.
los Muertos altars?
Yeah, the Day of the Dead.
I think that,
honoring
yeah,
the
I think
dead.
that's a different, I think that's a different, also, even in that, that's a different, whole different situation. Because I think they're entirely two different celebrations, right? Or activities, or
A
what have you,
culture,
right?
if you will, activity.
Right,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
right. They
But
seem
it's
similar,
being,
but they're not the
it's
same.
it's being
Yeah, it's
intertwined
almost
or
being,
being
right,
in the
mixed
wild
or something.
here. You know what I mean? That's what I was trying to say. But and then the extra level of what culture is propagating it, specifically Mexicans. There's a lot of negative, positive, intermingling with the American culture, with the Mexican culture, and like there's even memes. For example, around the world, they always debate who built the Egyptian pyramids, right? But in Mexico, there's also pyramids. Nobody questions who built them, right? That's the going meme. They relate
right.
to how hardworking Mexicans are in general. The meme is like the ethnicity is also related to hardworking. There's memes in the sense, I would say that the Mexican culture in general, as the ethnicity or the group, is also a marker. So there's levels upon levels of hardworking Mexican. Nobody questions who built the pyramids. Then the other one with the location of Puebla of being a center for the country of Mexico, being in the location of the center of a big center. I would say the best coast, right, of New York, right? So there's Puebla, New York. That's like three or four levels of check boxes that you can fill in, that qualifies to be part of the pop culture of a nation, of a people, if you will. And there's already a good or bad, or in this case, I want to say good specifically, of hardworking people. There's a hardworking people all over the world. Don't get me wrong, dear listeners. But in this case, there's memes of there's memes of South Americans, all those things. But specifically for Mexicans, the running meme is that nobody questions who built the pyramids. Versus they're always debating who aliens built the pyramids in Egypt and all those things. It's comedians use it to no end. And that's a part of the culture of Mexicans, that nobody questions if there's going to be ever who built the pyramids in Mexico. Then there's the location, the Puebla one, and the New York City one, and then the other ones of Cinco de Mayo and so on and so forth, that it compounds to being part of the culture that represents the US, Mexico, around the world. Like you were just saying with Chipotle and all those things. But I feel like it's location, a jewel of a country being in the jewel of another country, being an emitter to the rest of the world of, look what we got here in the wild, if you will, naturally. People that you never question as being hard workers, that have deep culture, that have great food, great events, calendar events, or that they honor their dead, or that they have great food, that it's fast food chain. That's I feel like I'm rambling here, but what do you think? Like, you just gotta be at the right place at the right time, and a certain amount of people, if you will, because in this case, the Mexican stereotype is not just one person, it's a group of people.
Right.
Versus fan fiction, like they're just shadows and they're just names, they're just pen names, you don't know them. Doujin you probably do, or they're probably even companies. So they're not the same. The only similar there is that people consume these whole things. May that be reading material, drawing material, food, pozole or birria, like or barbacoa, all those things. The only thing is that people consume them. Jury's out on how they become pop culture, and even though I just rambled that whole thing, and yes,
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, definitely, bro.
And to close out 2024, it all started because of music.
Yes,
Things,
definitely.
Educational material, standing at attention. For example, you, Alan, what song do you feel represented you this year? Or that you felt like you were listening to the most this year?
Let's see.
That you, Mr. Alan, Sensei Alan. For me, it was Decode, like I just said, and the whole rambling that we just had. But what about you?
I mean, because I do have a
one
playlist
song that comes to your head
on Spotify,
Yeah.
I can't say that for sure. There was one song that I played from morning till night on repeat, but there was a couple that I did listen to like most often. And it was like a mix of like, I mean, if you like, I can definitely take a look at my Spotify.
Just one song in the head, just off your head over here.
On my noggin?
Yeah, off your dome piece.
I want to say, bro, you got me in like the most craziest moment right now where I can't think of any of the songs, like the names and stuff.
Put the spotlight on you. It's too hard.
Right. Yeah, because I haven't really been listening to something where it's like I can say definitively this is what I've been listening to, because I can tell you like the genres, right? I can tell you like something from, again, like a Frank Sinatra to Billy Joel to maybe something from, I don't know, maybe anime, right? Like J rock or J pop or K-pop or even like something in Spanish, right? Maybe like salsa or something like that or something of that nature, right? So to me, it's kind of like,
what wakes you up every morning? What's your alarm music?
A female voice calling me Poppy and telling me to wake up because I gotta go to wake up.
Calm down, my boy. Damn.
And that they really appreciate me going to work. Yeah, that's my alarm right now.
Rise and grind, my boy. He says.
I don't know what
Father
to listen to or hear me say, bro. I mean, it's a regular standard alarm clock. The beep,
I want the bombastic side-eye sound effect.
That's what it is.
I'm up.
That's essentially what it is, bro.
What else? For me?
Nothing.
But yeah, for me, it was that one. For me, the year like can be summed up into decoding myself, understanding more of my head, what's going on around me. I could be wrong. I'm open to being wrong and hearing your opinions out. But yeah, well, with that one, everyone, I want to close this podcast. Mr. Allen, Mr. J, they had to step out. But yeah, my name is Marcos. Thank you for listening to this episode. And
what happened, bro?
Oh yeah. So yeah, like I was saying, no worries. I was saying that 2024 was a year that was to decode, to understand, with pun intended, with the song inspiring me. It was to decode one's environment, one's situation, one's lifestyle, irrelevant of the name of the song, the Paramore. Right. It was, I could get things wrong, I could get things right. It's not about getting things wrong, getting things right. It's just to even trying. It's not about getting it right. It's about trying. You know what I mean? Trying to decode things. Trying to understand. I'm not saying we're human. We're not 100% right. We're not 100% wrong. We're just us. And that's, I feel like that's what covered the year for me for 2024. And, I want to wish you, Alan, the best. I want to wish Mr. J had to step out. And hopefully we can have a new year 2025 a lot better, And, dear listeners, any final words, Alan?
Everyone, keep pushing forward. Don't even think about giving up. We believe in you. God bless y'all guys. I love y'all guys. Marcos, Mr. J, love you with all my heart, guys. And definitely 2024 was one to remember. A lot of positive things, a lot of negative things, but again, we don't depend on the government. We depend on the good Lord. That's how I look at it. And yeah, guys, I mean, let's get to it.
Keep it moving. Keep going. Yes, sir.
Yes.
With that, dear listeners, you know where to find the links. Go ahead.
Marcos, before we sign off, something that I did want to remind, Mr. J isn't here, but something that hopefully we'll be able to do next year for the recording is obviously get back into the groove of things. But yeah, I hope everyone has a really blessed and happy New Year. Please stay safe. And yeah, bro, that's basically that's all I wanted to say.
No worries, man. You already know. Here, the links in the social medias, everything will be in the description. So, from the bottom of my heart, my name is Marcos. Stay frosty. And my co-host over here, Alan.
Yes, sir. Guys, have a great one. Talk to you guys soon.
Stay frosty.